Hello, welcome to my channel. In this episode, I will talk about an experiment that I had conducted using the same variety of an African violet semi-miniature trailer, Rob's Gundaroo, to grow one plant on a wick and then to grow the other plants in the bubble garden. So this is the first bubble garden I've ever built, and to learn about how to build a bubble garden, I watched a few videos on Facebook and on YouTube, and I was very excited to try and build one on my own. I had quite a few plantlets grown from the 3 leaves of Rob's Gundaroo semi-mini trailer that I received in April from a fellow African Violet Club member at Thousand Oaks African Violet Society. And so I grew the leaves and they produced quite a few plantlets, and here's the progress on the propagation. This variety has turned out to be very prolific, and each of the 3 leaves produced a few babies, and so I wound up with quite a few little plantlets. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna plant 3 small rosettes into a single container and we'll grow it on a wick, and I will put the rest of the rosettes into a bubble, and I will try grow in my own bubble garden. For my first bubble garden, I picked a glass terrarium. I got it at a house goods store. I believe it was Home Goods. And I just picked the smallest bubble terrarium that I found, and also I wanted to make sure that it had a lid. So it came like this, and I wanted to have a lid so that I could regulate the inside humidity in case my external humidity is not sufficient. But as I was growing it, I found that this lid is unnecessary. It does fine just in the humidity that I have in my house. It's about 7 inches tall and also 7 inches wide at the widest point. If we measure it, yeah, it's 7 inches tall and about 7 inches wide at the widest point. I planted the leaves for Rob's Gundaroo in April when I received them at my African Violet Club, and I separated the plantlets in July. So as we can see, the plant on the wick has started to bloom, and it's grown very nicely. And as far as growing conditions, these grew in the exact same growing conditions. They were grown on a plant stand under a combination of west facing window light, natural light, and the combination of LED lights, one warm at 3000 K and another one cool at 6500 K. And so they were at exact same distance from the light bulbs, standing next to each other on the same shelf. So I was very interested to see the results and how different the plants looked. The difference in the growing condition was the watering method, and because and also obviously the access of air, because this one is an open air and it's on a wick, meaning that it's been constantly watered and fertilized as it wants as much of fertilized liquid it wants to consume, and so it has access to it all the time. And I used a very weak dosage of equal proportions of balanced fertilizer with nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium as just regular African violet fertilizer. And this one was top watered. And the mix, the potting mix is also exact same. So I believe this one has about 50% perlite and 50% peat moss, as well as this particular plant. The difference is that on the bottom there is charcoal, a layer of charcoal, and then a layer of potting mix, and then some pebbles on the top. So the leaves look much better inside of the bubble. They're larger in size. The only downside that I'd seen with this particular bubble and the plant is that sometimes I had to clean up the powdery, like small powdery mildew, even though I do run fans all the time. But I believe because there is no access of air to this particular leaves on the edges here, I had to be more careful applying fungicide and making sure that there is no powdery mildew on the leaves. Whereas this particular plant on the wick, it never had any issues because it's always it was always exposed to the moving air. This plant just started to bloom, and I was very happy to see the first blooms coming out, and I see more stems with buds peeking out through the leaves. I'm really excited to see them. So hopefully we will see some blooms as impressive as on this plant sometime soon, coming from this little bubble garden with Rob's Gundaroo semi-miniature trailer. So if they do bloom more, I will show you another video to share the progress of the bubble garden with you. So stay tuned for that. Thank you all so very much for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you again on the next episode of my African Violet reviews.